The main way we recommend people use this is through direct inhalation, where you place a few drops on your hands, you rub your hands together, cup them around your nose and your mouth, and you just take slow, deep breaths for about a minute. The best time to use this is okay, so now High Ground Immune. And other than CB2 Wellness, this is my favorite product. We consider this the immune blend that starts working within minutes, and that's because it works so quickly. In fact, we even have people reporting that within half an hour of using our products, they start to feel better. The main way we recommend people use this is through direct inhalation, where you place a few drops on your hands, you rub your hands together, you cup them around your nose and your mouth, and you just take slow, deep breaths for about a minute. And as those terpenes get into the lungs, they are able to work extremely rapidly. The best time to use this is just as you start to question whether you're coming down with something. The earlier you use it, the better your chance of success. The great thing with High Ground Immune is that it's used as needed. So you don't have to take daily doses of a product that most other immune products will require you to do throughout the cold and flu season. Our product, like I said, is used as needed. So just as you feel you're starting to come down with something, you use it, and you might only need to use it once or twice or a day or so, and that's pretty much it. That means, but one vial, approximately 120 drops, will last about 40 uses. So it's a very economical immune product. The main terpene in this blend is beta-caryophyllene. Beta-caryophyllene works through the activation of CB2 receptors. And if you remember from earlier, I talked about how the immune system is extremely densely populated with CB2 receptors. So when we activate CB2 receptors on the immune system cells, they act as an immune modulator. What's fascinating to a lot of people to learn is that echinacea actually works in a very similar way. There are compounds in echinacea called echinacea acrylamides that are also activators of the CB2 receptor. Now, the difference is echinacea acrylamides are what are known as partial agonists of the CB2 receptor, or when we activate it, the signal it sends to the cell is just a partial signal. Beta-caryophyllene, however, according to my own research, I think the only known full agonist of the CB2 receptor. There are other full agonists, but they're synthetic pharmaceutical compounds. So when it comes to natural compounds, I've only come across beta-caryophyllene as the full agonist of CB2 receptors. And this means that when beta-caryophyllene activates CB2 receptors, the signal sent to the cell is the maximum amount. So even though the mechanism is similar, the effect is quite different. And that's one of the reasons why I think our product is so successful and so many people are reporting it works well and works fast. The other question we get is, what about those people with autoimmune conditions? Of course, autoimmune conditions are an overactive immune system, and normally, when we activate CB2 receptors, it has an immune modulating effect. However, with High Ground Immune, we've also included other terpenes that have more of an immune boosting effect. So for individuals that are going through any sort of autoimmune condition, I would say that CB2 Wellness is the better product for them. But for everyone else, anytime they feel like they're coming on with something, the High Ground Immune is the product for them. Now, for High Achievers Focus. Now, this is our nootropic, and it's gaining popularity with students as well as athletes. Even some gamers are now using our High Achievers Focus. The benefit to High Achievers Focus is that it works faster than any other nootropic product on the market. The recommendation here is to use it through direct inhalation, and that's the reason why it works so quickly. Take a student writing an exam, and they're looking for that cognitive boost. If they want to use our product, they can take 2 or 3 drops in the palm of their hands and inhale those terpenes as they walk into the exam room. If you look at something like Bacopa, which is quite a popular nootropic that you have on your store shelves as well, A person needs to use that on a daily basis for 3 months before they get that cognitive boost. So taking that example of a student, that student will have to plan out 3 months in advance to start using Bacopa, probably 1 bottle every month, in order for them to get that cognitive boost when they start to walk into that room. In terms of convenience and the speed of action, there really is no comparison. The other benefit is that there's no long-term use needed. There's no planning. You use it as needed, and it's very simple. Students can use it. Even elementary students are using our products, again, to help with attention and focus in their classroom. These vials look small, but each 5 milliliter vial contains about 120 drops. If you're using 3 drops per use, that's 40 uses per vial. So very, very economical. How does it work? Now, the dominant terpene in High Achievers Focus is one called alpha-pinene, and it works in a couple different ways. First, alpha-pinene has been shown to be an acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. That means it slows the breakdown of a critical neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is one of the most important neurotransmitters in the brain, and your brain function doesn't operate properly without it. This is the reason why some pharmaceutical companies are even looking at creating acetylcholine esterase inhibitors for things like Alzheimer's. There are a number of naturally occurring acetylcholine esterase inhibitors, and you probably have them on your shelf as well. One in particular is called huperzine A. Hup-A works in the same way as alpha-pinene. The difference, however, is that huperzine A is an orally ingested substance. It's not a volatile compound, so you can't absorb it through your lungs like alpha-pinene. When you ingest something, it's going to take a lot longer for it to take action. So again, if you're using a student using huperzine A for that cognitive boost, they'll have to plan well in advance to be sure that they're getting that boost in cognition when they need it. With alpha-pinene and our High Achievers Focus, very fast acting, easy to use through the lungs. Now, the other way alpha-pinene works is through something called bronchodilation, and that's basically expanding and dilating our airways. And this makes breathing a lot easier. The benefit to this is that we get to oxygenate the blood to a greater extent. I wrote about this in my book, Mitochondria and the Future of Medicine. This is because despite the brain only being about 5% of our body weight, it uses about 20% at rest of our energy production. So it's an energy-hungry organ. And the vast majority of that energy is produced in the mitochondria through aerobic respiration, or the production of energy using oxygen. So anything we can do to improve oxygenating the blood and delivering that blood to the brain cells, we're going to have a material benefit to those brain cells, those neurons, and the proper function of them. So with High Achievers Focus, you get multiple benefits targeting different mechanisms of action with the end goal of improving cognition.